садах наших вишни рано так начали зреть, рано веселые звездочки вышли, чтоб на тебя поглядеть. Если б гармошка умела все говорить не тая.
There you go, that's the sunrise in the morning over the lake near the Carlsberg here in Danzig, in Oliva, the olive tree part, as it's so called, of Gdansk. Stayed here. This is the breakfast room or restaurant. This is the restaurant here, area of the, well, at least the hotel. I'm already getting phone calls, of course. I think that it was Shakespeare who spoke about icicles hanging by the wall. Today in Poland we have -10, earlier on it was at -13, and so you can see the icicles hanging by the wall over there. I don't know if Greasy Joan is doing something with the pot here like in the Shakespeare poem, but it's Tokaj, or Tokaj, a little motel and restaurant, actually run by a Hungarian family in this rather interesting house. While we're about it, you can see the moon is up today. That's how cold it is. Instead of, well, in addition, I suppose, to the sun. I don't know if you can see it very well, but I don't know if I'm focusing on it at all. But the moon's up there anyway. And here we are out here in the road which leads from Warsaw, which is in that direction, up to Gdansk, which is in that direction, next to this lovely forest in the snow. Here's my colleague, who you know from he did the film in the Christmas thing, so you've seen Peter before. And we're going to eat some Hungarian food in this lovely restaurant. So off we go. So basically you can see the way that looks like that's way up to the hotel in there. It's interesting kind of rural theme. Plenty of plants. There's a nice Christmas tree here. Nice Hungarian uniforms. Dobre. Tak. So this is what it looks like. We'll take some photographs of the food when it arrives.
Лишь только вечер затеплится синим, лишь только звезды блеснут небеса, и черемух серебряной уберет жемчугами роса. Потихоньку калитку и войди в темный сад, ты как тень, не забудь потемнее накидку. На голову надень. Там, где гуще сплетаются ветки, у калитки тебя подожду. И на самом пороге беседки кружева с милых уст отведу. Отведу.
Prononce Gundel Palacinta. Peter's fire's already gone out. It's nice, isn't it? Look at the fire there. My fire lasted quite a bit longer than yours did, I don't know why. Pretty good, that wasn't it? Excellent. Quite a tremendous. Thankfully Peter's driving, it's his car. Unfortunately we just got nabbed by the fuzz because Peter's quite an ambitious driver and they gave him a 300 zloty fine, unfortunately, so he's still reeling under the injustice of that, bearing in mind that he's a very safe driver. And I just saw this beautiful sunset out there. I just had to film it. Looks like the whole horizon's on fire. It's extremely cold, minus 15. It's not as cold as it gets, but it's rather cold. Look at that! Look at the scenery there. Isn't that rather lovely? Sometimes you see, oh, look at all the snow that's piled up there. It's almost covering the trees. The snowbank beside it. I don't think I ever get my camera out without somebody ringing me up. It's hooked. Don't know who that was. We're in the forest now. I don't know how much I can keep up with this because it's damn cold. I get minus 15 in my ear here. But I think that the view is so interesting and so unique actually this evening that I can't resist filming it a little bit longer. I'm not fiddling with this. I'm not going to let this. I'm not going to change this. I'm not going to do any post-production. That is the colour of the sky, that pink over there. I'm not doing anything to it. I won't be doing anything to it in post-production. I just wanted to see how it actually looks on camera. Just the way I'm taking it now. It actually looks that way. It's really odd. I don't think I can handle that 15 degree below zero chill factor anymore. Oh. Ooh, I think the side of my head is numb. Oh dear. I'm quite cold resistant, but minus 15 degrees coming at you at about, how fast are we going? 80 kilometers per hour. That and a wind behind it, I think, is the whole side of my head is numb now from that. Not as good filming through the window as it is filming without the window, but I can't handle the cold anymore. And for me to say I can't handle the cold, that's something, because all the boys and girls watching know that Uncle Davey is very cold resistant, being a fat boy.
Зорька золотая светит за рекой, Ивушка родная, сердце успокой. Ивушка были с милым встречи у твоих ветвей, пел нам каждый вечер песни соловей. Ивушка зеленая на
People say to me, how do you get the time to make all these films? How is it that you've got over 700 films up on your channel on YouTube? How did you manage to make all those films? And I say, well, they make themselves. And they say, what do you mean? Well, the thing is that I didn't produce this sunset. Normally, you'd be watching this sunset and looking at it and admiring it and saying, oh, I wish I'd brought my camera. The only difference is I'm somebody that does bring their camera. In fact, I've got two on me. One good one, this is the better one that I've got, and another which is less good, but which would have also made a passable show at that sunset too. It's actually got the memory full on it, so I won't be trying to do it to see how it compares. But if you've got the camera with you, then you can do these things. If you haven't, then obviously you can't. Then the other thing is to simply, I like the way that row of trees kind of change shape in the lens. Then the other thing is being a little bit observant and noticing things that might be worth filming. And then experimenting a bit, being willing to experiment a bit is another thing. And if you only have those characteristics, remember to bring your camera, be willing to experiment and be a little bit observant, then you can make dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of films without doing one single thing more than you'd be doing anyway in the course of your work or your travel, and then you'll have a big film collection. And you have to believe that people all over the world are interested in the place where you live, because it's different to where they live, and they're interested in what the rest of the world looks like. And even in today's world where people can travel as never before, which is like a golden age if you like, and may not be repeated again in the future, there aren't that many people that have been everywhere. And so there's always going to be somebody that's interested who say, well, I've never been to the place where you live or the place where you're going, and I'd like to see some films of it. And they look into YouTube, they might be guided by these Google Maps. All of my films, by the way, are linked to Google Maps, if it's relevant. And I think without exception, unless anything slipped through the loop. But and people can look and they can pick a place off anywhere off Google Earth, and they can see what are the YouTube videos that link into this particular spot, and they can see your films if you take films like this. And you can be sure, you know, or you have to be sure, if you're going to be motivated to do it, that it's going to interest people. And you can see that it does interest people, because people that do this get hits and get, you know, moderate followings of their videos on YouTube, even though there's nothing. You might think of it, you know, if you're doing it, you might think, well, what I'm doing now is nothing particularly special. I'm just holding a camera out of the window, maybe making some silly comments or something, making it up as I go along. But you have to understand that people are interested in what other people's lives look like, and that's why it's always worth it, whoever you are, wherever you are, to make videos. And it's a record of your life. It's like a diary. It's more than a blog, isn't it, really? Because a blog is, you know, you're always sitting at the computer writing the blog, whereas here, well, this is a blog, isn't it? And essentially I'm writing a blog, but I'm writing it talking and moving around at the same time. Which, you know, these vlogs of people that take their camera with them and talk into it as they go around, there's got to be something more, that an extra dimension to simply writing it down. Now, why is it that I always get, whenever I've got the camera up in my hand, I always get a phone call? Sorry about this. Now there's a funny thing. Look at the way those plumes of smoke are just hanging there in the air, not going anywhere in particular. Not even sure what it is that's making those plumes. Something's burning. What exactly it is and why those plumes are there, they look like question marks just hanging in the air. smoke. The smoke, I've noticed that even when the chimneys are burning smoke, like over there, it won't go above a certain height, and then it's going to hang there. Here's another, like one which is further away from the house, just hanging there at about, I don't know, what would that be, about 20-30 meters above the ground. Oh, and there's quite a lot of it here. It's just hanging there about 20 to 30 meters above the ground, all this smoke. It can't get any higher, this chimney smoke, and so it's just producing like streams of itself. Oh, what a dirty chimney this guy's got. He's got a dirty chimney. And look at that. The way that, because of the way that it's, that's a little bit ugly actually, the way the smoke is going. But it's strange, isn't it? Because normally you wouldn't see it looking like that. It's one of the strangest evenings. By the way, it's not even really evening, is it? What time is it? 17 minutes past 4. But of course it is the 5th of January, so you don't. It's quite north, because we were in the northern part of Poland, so it's behind us. This is me. I don't know if you even see me. Behind us it's dark, and in front it's still a bit lighter. This is pointing south. No, there's, what's this, Moava? That statue was of the battle at Moava. Was that part of the Second World War? Okay. Moava was also quite famous for a early 1990s. Look at him going the wrong way up there. Isn't that remarkable? He's gone completely the wrong way up an island like that. He's completely on the wrong side of the road going up an island, not even knowing whether he was going to be able to get back onto his side of the road before something came out on him. I can't believe that irresponsible kind of driving. It's crazy. Things that people sometimes do are crazy. And this thing's a total mess. Phew, and it smells. We're now sort of like in a twilight situation. Moava. Tak. Akurat tutaj z strony Warszawy. A wypadeczek tam gdzieś jest.
Jakoś można wyjechać, chłopaki? No?
Jak długi jest ten korek?
Bo ja jadę dużym, także możesz żwawo jechać, nie? Spokojnie, dużo dać się dwietrzą, bo jest dobra droga.
Tak, czyli mówią, że to jest długo, tak?
No właśnie.
Okay, so Peter just went on the Citizens Band to find out how long this
Spokojnie można, no bo godzina jest troszkę bądź, bo godzina jest normalna droga do Ławy.
to find out how big the queue would be. There's apparently been an accident down there. Now he's putting on his GPS machine to find an alternative way around this position.
Jak to nowa, to tak zawróciłeś? Masz jakiś objazd?
On the Citizens Band, they're all discussing what the possible ways around it are, and it's amazing how much activity there is, even though we're out in the country there, how much activity there is between people using the Citizen Band to advise each other on the way around this situation. This guy seems to think he knows what he's doing, going up to Gdansk that way. So that might be the best way of doing it.
Robi się w kierunku Warszawy.
So we're basically stuck here at the moment. It's minus 17 on the outside.
Dużo się będzie nadrabiało? Nic tam nie zawiało, spokojnie przyleci.
Wyszyny.
Tamtędy jechałem, do tym Wiśniewem, przed Wiśniewem wyjechałem, także tam jest biało, ale idzie jechać. Działają cały czas, to może 10 minut, może porszu wahadło, zobaczymy, bo tu widzę, że jeden na jedną stronę ściągnął, drugi do rowu, tam te resztki ściągają. W ogóle się wydarzyło kogo.
One person that is bad thinks that the firemen are going to clean it up in about 10 minutes, so
Tak, ciężaróweczko jest zamat w ramu, stał na poboczu i nie wiem, czy w niego uderzy.
Oh dear. Thank you. I think that's the first time I've ever sneezed on camera in 700 films. We're going to try that Gdansk then? Vishini. Okay, watch for the guy though.
Yeah.
There's an adventure.
Kontenerkiem dawaj w lewo, nie pchaj się tam. Jadę, nie pchaj się tutaj, bo do Bogużyna dolecisz, masz normalną drogę, a tutaj to Polacy. Tam byś doleciał, ale to taka wolna droga, to tam można pod nalecieć, ja tutaj stąd jestem, bo ja to sobie
We've got what we just managed to get around by going over country roads. There's the accident and the ambulance, and now you've got the tailback going all the way down there for miles and miles. This way it came as well, miles and miles. We went over these country roads behind. You can't even see it because it's too dark, but we managed to avoid it, and again all thanks to having a GPS machine. So I think they're much maligned actually, because people always say that you get taken off into awful country roads. Well, we are on an awful country road, but it got us out of trouble. That's the alternative was to stay there in the to actually stay there in the you can't see a thing actually. The only thing you can see is the moon. And if you see the moon, there's the moon. Otherwise you'd be in that queue and nothing's moving. We'd probably be in there for about an hour.
Halo?
Down to minus 18.
No.
Back on the main road
No.
again.
W ogóle go nie rozumiałem, wiesz? Mówię, że go nie rozumiałem, w jakiejś knajpie jesteście, tak?
We stopped for a while so that we could take a phone call, but
No, a która godzina jest? No. Jest to 3:00.
we're basically back on the north road again.
No. Minus 18 u nas jest, wiesz? O, to fajnie. No to fajnie.